I'm beating most investors with this system you're seeing here, which I'm gonna teach you in this video. I really need you to watch this entire video because you can replicate it too, and it can work for you as well. And I have a ton of information that could be really valuable, so let's get started. The first thing I should say about this strategy is that it's really simple, because basically I'm doing it without really doing anything, and it's almost completely automated. In about 9 months, I've had a return of 31.99%. And when I say that I outperform the vast majority of investors, it's because if you don't know, when you invest in the stock market, your goal is to beat an ETF called the S&P 500. For those who might not know much about this and find it a bit complicated to understand, what happens is that the S&P 500 includes the 500 largest companies in the United States. So it's like the market, the biggest market in the world, which is precisely the US stock market. So you always aim to beat that one, the S&P 500. And in this case, we're beating it because our portfolio over these 9 months has had a return of 31.99%, while the S&P 500 has had a return of 22.27% during this same period. So I honestly think that is really awesome. But you're probably wondering how we do it. First, we need two things. The first one, and the most important, is where we're going to invest. For that, we have this app called ARK, which used to be called Dollar App, and I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Why do we use this app? Because for the strategy we're following, we have to constantly buy and sell a lot of stocks, and this platform doesn't charge us any fees for buying or selling. So it's really simple. Now, what's going on? Besides that, we're also going to start explaining the strategy really well right here. There's an option to invite people, and everyone who joins using this link, which I'll leave in the video description, and invests $100 in this investment option will get $25 as a gift. And you can do it directly using the strategy we're using right now. This might sound like a promotion, but it's not. You can see the conditions for yourself right there. I'm going to get $25, and you'll also get $25 in the stock I choose here, which in this case is the stock I think is amazing, called AMD, which is this one right here. Over the past year, I've been really deep into AI, and this stock has grown a lot in the last year. It's gone up more than 100%, but I expect it to grow even more, so I'm going to hit share here. So right now it's showing up on the screen. You can scan this code and go straight in. If not, I'll also send you this link and leave it in the video description so you can join. Just sign up and invest $100 on the platform, and you'll get $25 in stock. I mean, that's really great. But heads up, there's a limit to this. It's for the first 5 people. Next up, and I know this sounds like a promo, but I love this because the system I'm about to show you is super simple, and starting out with this is going to be the best thing for you. For those joining this app to invest, whether you have an account or you're about to start, in the trade section at the bottom, go to the top left to the person icon. Then scroll down. If you have it set to Spanish, it'll show up in Spanish. If you have it in English, it'll show up like this. Enter a promo code or enter code in promotion. Click there, select promo code, and enter our channel name, finanzasplus, all in lowercase, then hit submit. Once you hit submit, it'll load for you. And what happens next? If, after entering the code, you click where it says trade and invest at least $100 in any stock, ETF, or whatever you want within the section, they'll give you $10 completely free for you to invest as well. So there's a win all around. I need to show you this because if you use the strategy I'll teach you later, you're already starting off right and winning. This is mainly for those who haven't started investing yet. If you're already investing, these promotions don't apply. But for those starting now with this video, I'm giving you this to help you begin on the right foot. Alright, so what have we done, Checho, to achieve this investment strategy and get this kind of return? Well, we've been following a strategy, this platform called InvestingPRO, and I also like to be honest with y'all. This requires a subscription, meaning you have to pay an annual subscription to access this data. But honestly, with the profits I've made, it's already paid for itself completely. I mean, as you saw, I think I've made over $1,100 in these 9 months, so it's been amazing. It's paid for itself completely, especially when you buy it during promotions like Cyber Monday or Black Friday. Plus, use code finanzasplus. I'll leave that for you too. So how does this work? Because I know there are people who have already seen this, but still haven't realized how powerful it is, and it's basically an automated investment because it's worked out pretty well for me. So what happens? Here, when you buy this subscription and go to where it says Investing Pro and then to where it says Pro Picks AI, this section will show up for you. And these are basically strategies based on artificial intelligence and certain algorithms, which basically means, well, if a stock meets this requirement plus this requirement plus this requirement, then we invest in that stock. If it doesn't meet them, then we don't. So how is that determined? Well, it depends on the type of strategy. Take Buffett's Best, which outperforms the S&P 500. Or Tech Titans, which focuses on the technology sector. It's the same with others like Health Heroes, which aims to invest in healthcare stocks to generate returns in that sector. So, under certain conditions, investments are made there. In this case, the one we've been investing in for 9 months now. In fact, I'll leave the link to the first video we made about this in the description so you can get a deeper understanding. We've been investing for 9 months, and right now, that's our return, so we're doing really well. Actually, look, we're even a little above the annualized return shown here. And how does it work? Well, when you log in, it'll look the same for you as it does for me, just like that. In fact, I'm showing it to you this month. And the idea is that there are 15 stocks in this portfolio. You'll always see a little number here next to the name of this portfolio. For example, here it shows 15, but in others it might show 20, 25, 20, over here 20, 10, right there. You'll see the number. So when you see that, what you do, and what I did, and this is my strategy, what I've done in this case to achieve this return is open the calculator and say, okay, if I have 15 stocks here, then I'm going to decide on a portfolio size. For example, it could be $5,000. And what I do is divide those $5,000 by the number of stocks, which is specifically $333.33 per stock that I'm going to be investing. I'll explain in a moment why this is so important. So once you have this, now we're going to move on to the next step. And here you see the 15 stocks, but don't pay attention to that. Let's scroll down a little here. What happens is that each portfolio of these stocks, what will happen is that on the 1st of every month, a new update will be released. So if you joined on April 1st, these stocks appeared for you. If you joined on June 1st, then you'll see these stocks here, which are the stocks for this period. When you join, what you're going to do, or what I did at the time, is the following. For example, on January 1st, 2026. On January 1st, 2026, it told me that I needed to add these stocks and remove these stocks. Ignore the stocks on the top right when you join. That's the full portfolio. If I joined in January 2026, but they bought AMD in October 2023, it doesn't work. They invested then for a reason, but when I'm joining, it doesn't make sense for me to buy those stocks. That's why I have to scroll down and go to the month when I'm actually starting this strategy. Starting January 1st, 26, what do? That's $333 for a $5,000 portfolio. If your portfolio is $10,000, divide by 15 and put $666 into each stock. Look at ARK for our investment in Ether. I'll put in 666.66. In Microchip, I'd invest 666.66. In CN, just like that, and so on down. Why? Because these stocks say add. Now, for the ones marked removed, I won't remove them because I don't have them in my portfolio. You need to understand the concept here. How can I sell stocks I don't own? Imagine the month is over. If you started in January, you use this strategy. With these 4 stocks, you invested 666.66 in each one. But you might say, Checho, what's going on? Because if I multiply this by 4, I get 2,666. What happens to all the other money I have there? Well, you just keep it on hold for now, you put it in something that's earning some interest, but make sure it's liquid so that whenever you need it, you can invest it. But right now, for this month, you only invested this amount of money, but there's still a lot more money left to invest. For example, if we lower it to 10K, we're still short by $7,333 to invest in this strategy. Now, what happens then? If you invested on January 1st, then on February 1st, early in the morning, you're at your computer or phone checking, you move to February 1st, and now look, there are other stocks. So what do we do that month? We start adding these new stocks. And if among the stocks that were removed, like for example, yes, here's one, look, it's February 1st, and remember that on January 1st they told us we had to add Microchip, but this month they're already saying we need to remove it. So we go and sell what we have of Microchip. If we have other stocks, for example, look, Teradyne also shows up, and in January it said we needed to add it. So in this case, that stock is also removed, and the others are added, and so on. If we don't have any more stocks to remove from our portfolio, since these are likely from previous months, then we just leave them as they are. We don't remove them because we can't sell something we don't even own. But what we do is add the others. So what happens with this strategy? There will come a point after following this monthly, which I think I've already reached, where you'll end up with the same 15 stocks at the top. Through buying and selling, you eventually keep the stocks that stay in the portfolio. I'll make a video or go live to show you what I mean. But anyway, the point is that I've already gone through all of this since September 1st, 2025. We started from around here. Now we're at June 1st, 2026. So, to show you how the strategy works, let's start with this. I'll have this on screen, but I'll also have my phone here with the ARK investment app open. Using the earlier promotions gives you a big advantage, because you'll get $25 for the first people in AMD, as AMD joins the portfolio this month. Adding code FINANZAS Plus gives you $10 extra for this strategy, which is great. So once we're here, what are we going to do? I usually start with the ones I remove, which are right here. So it tells me, let's go to my portfolio, let's look at all the positions I have. Look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, I already have 15 since I've been at it since September. So if you're just starting now, you'll need to do this. What happens next? I likely have the ones I said to remove too, since my portfolio is already fully loaded. Now, remember, I'm recording this at noon, but the idea is that on the 1st of every month at 9 a.m. when the market opens, you do this to stick to the strategy, as this is released early. So as soon as the market opens, start investing. Don't do what I'm doing. I did it this way to make it an automated investment, so I don't need to watch it constantly. So I said, I'll try it. Not right as the market opens, but even then, it's gone well for me. Theory aside, let's get to the practice. Here it says eliminated. So here in another one, it says we have to sell it. So let's remove it. We click here, we click sell, and here we enter the amount we want to sell. In this case, we select that we want to sell everything. We click down there where it says sell all, then we review the sale, confirm, and sell. OTEX, that's the name of this company. Done, it's already been sold. Let's go back to my portfolio. Let's move on to the next one. It's called EPAM, so we look for it in our history. EPAM Systems, here it is. Again, we click sell, click here again, select sell all, review the sale, confirm, and sell everything. Done, and we keep going like this. As you can see, this is where the importance of the platform we use to invest comes in. Since with ARK, I have to be selling all the time, every month, and buying too. If there were a commission involved, obviously I'd have to spend more money on fees and commissions, so that just doesn't make sense. Let's move on to the next one, which is Autodesk, which we also need to remove. So here we're going to look for it in our portfolio. Here's Autodesk, this one that shows up here. Here we're going to click on sell, then click here on sell all, and then review sale and confirm sale, and so on with all of them. I don't want to bore you all with this, so we'll just do it and skip ahead to the point where I've sold everything. Look, all of this needs to be removed. All of those need to be removed. I'm showing you just in case you want to do this month. Again, go to portfolio, to our positions, and keep going. So once I'm done with this, we'll continue when it's time to move on to the ad section. All right, look, we've pretty much finished selling everything. I think if anyone wants to get into this strategy, now is the best time. Look at what's showing up here. We only have 4 stocks left at this point. So now what's next? It's very simple. I'm going to show you again. Now for the practical part. My portfolio is $5,000. So when I'm going to invest, like I mentioned before, we take $5,000 divided by 15, and I invest this amount per stock, $333.33. So what do? I start looking at the ones I added, which in this case are K, L, and C. So I come over here and tap the magnifying glass at the top right to search, and I type in K, L, and C, and here it shows up. It's the same one that appears there. So I tap on it, hit buy, and in this case, I enter 333.33 myself, and there it shows up. And then I just tap review, purchase, confirm, and buy. And that's it. Now the purchase order is executed. All right, we just wait for it to go through. Okay, let's move on to the next link. So the next one in this case is INTC, which is this one right here. So here it shows up, which is Intel. And then we just tap on it, hit buy, enter 333.33, review purchase, confirm, and buy. And you do the same thing for all the remaining ones here. Let's do it with the last one so you can see that it's basically the same process for all of them. So we tap there, find it here, buy 333.33, review purchase, confirm purchase, and that's it. I'm going to keep doing this with all the others left here, and once I'm done, we'll continue with the video to show you more details. Alright, we're now making the last purchase, which is this one showing up here, and everything is being processed now. If you want to make sure everything went through correctly, what you do is check all the purchases you've made, and then look here at your current portfolio. And this is the portfolio that currently includes the purchases that were made. So it has to be here. Obviously, you won't have everything, especially for beginners, because some were bought long ago. Now, how much do you need to do this? Literally with any amount. This is my current strategy, but you could take $100,000 divided by 15 and invest $6,000 in each, however you want to do it. But really, you can do this any way you want, because many people have told me they've gotten better returns than the ones shown here. In InvestingPRO, for each stock that shows up, it tells you, look, this is the stock we're investing in this month, which is exactly what we're doing. But what they do is read this report over here, which is a pro report, and basically this is where it explains why this stock is being added this month. And what they do is they don't add all the stocks because obviously some of these might be at a loss the following month. Some people scrutinize this and say, honestly, despite the portfolio suggesting AMD, I just don't want to add it this month. So they don't add it. That's a risk because their hypothesis might not be as good, or it turns out positive and they make more. But some of you mentioned you've done well that way too. I'll see if I can do a live stream one of these days, a live session, and show you both how the ARC app works and how InvestingPRO works in detail for those of you who have questions. Still, let me know in the comments, but right now we can say that we have a return, look at it here, of 31.98%. We've made $1,103. Even though it says here since July, that's just when this account was opened, but the actual investment was made, look, from here, from September, which is the month when we actually started this time. I'll link it in the description. For those who stayed until the end, drop a flying dollar emoji, because our money is growing nicely. Look, even though the NASDAQ is beating us by a tiny bit, the good thing is our strategy is the one in green. Notice when everything crashed around March 22nd, both the S&P 500, the yellow line, and the NASDAQ, our portfolio dropped too, but not as much as the indexes did. I love that. It's like automated investing. Honestly, I really recommend this, not as a promotion, but because it works and I'm showing you the real data. I can't fake this or make it up with AI. Besides, it wouldn't even make sense to show you something fake. It's because it's really working for me. So again, drop the flying dollar emoji. See you next time, and if you have questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer there. Audio replies are enabled, so maybe I'll use voice messages, or we'll go live soon to show you all this in detail. See you next time. Bye.